The House and Homeland Security Committee, Mike Rogers, who is now joining us live. Hello, Congressman. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be with you.
So the president's latest strike comes as immigration officials are dealing with historic levels of illegal border crossings. They predicted more than 100,000 apprehensions last month alone. Would you support the president's decision to close the border despite the impact on the economy here in the U.S.?
Well, it's my hope it doesn't come to that. Obviously, we don't want to see trade adversely impacted by this crisis, but there is a crisis and it's got to be dealt with, and the president's going to be vigorous, and if that's the course of action he chooses to take, I'm going to support him on it. Again, I hope it doesn't happen. One of my staff just informed me right before we went on the air that Trump just announced that he's given Mexico a one-year warning before he closes the border. So I don't think that news will be announced on our trip down there tomorrow, but I'm glad he's sending a signal he's serious and he wants something done, and he wants cooperation from Mexico in getting it done.
That's right. We did hear that just moments ago. We are getting those reports here. Also, President Trump has declared this a crisis, a national emergency. And just this week, we heard the DHS secretary call this a situation very close to a Category 5 hurricane. But Democrats, and especially the media, have declined to call this a crisis. Now, what do you think the left continues to take this position and deny that there is a crisis at the southern border?
It really is affecting their credibility. You know, one of the things that America's going to see with our trip to Mars is there's going to be some visuals that the president's going to be able to demonstrate. You know, this is not manufactured. This is a real crisis that not only Trump has said, that Obama called it a crisis. And you may have seen an interview with Jay Johnson in the last few days where he's also said, listen, this was a crisis when I was there and it's just gotten worse. We did not manufacture this. And the Democrats, the more they deny this, I think it diminishes their credibility. And I know it's hindering our ability to deal with the humanitarian problems that are taking place down there right now. You know, we had last Monday a new record set of 4,000 immigrants detained on one day. That record was broke the next day with 4,100. We had thousands and thousands of immigrants trying to come across every day. We don't have enough personnel to deal with it. We don't have the capacity in our bed space. And I'm going to be bringing legislation next week to provide an extra $1 billion just for the balance of this fiscal year to deal with this humanitarian crisis. The Democrats have said all along that they didn't support the barrier, but they did think we needed to have more personnel, technology, and resources. Well, I'm going to call their bluff next week. I'm going to have a bill that just deals with the things they've been saying we need, and we're going to see if they'll embrace it.
Well, hopefully we can finally get a solution from both sides there. Like you mentioned, it's been an issue. Actually, the portion of the border that you are supposed to visit with President Trump, that initially was approved in the Obama administration to be reconstructed, and now we're seeing that it's finally getting done. We've seen, again, Mexico cut back on humanitarian visas. They're taking a bit of a more aggressive approach there with the caravans. Now, the president has repeatedly blamed Mexico for aiding drug and human trafficking efforts at the border. And now, as you just said, he's threatening with auto tariffs. So do you believe that Mexico is partly to blame here with the crisis at the border?
They have not been as cooperative as they need to be. That has to change. We have to have them partner with us to deal with this effectively. And I think that the president's going to get their attention one way or another and get their cooperation one way or another, because we are going to deal with this crisis.
That's right. Thank you very much once again, Representative Rogers, for having the time here to speak with us right before that expected visit of President Trump and yourself to the southern border. I'm sure we'll hear more details from that visit tomorrow, and we appreciate your time. Have a good day. Moving on now, President Trump does continue to point out that Democrats